Ready? Yep. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Samadhi Studios Podcast. And today we have Lyle Richardson here. So to give you guys a little bit of an introduction about Lyle, I'm actually shooting this in his house. We were going to go and try and go by the river, but typical sort of weather as it is right now. It's a bit breezy and probably storm roll over soon anyway. So
beautiful weather out there, but
cursing the rain when we don't normally get it. So it's,
and now it's a wind.
What a dilemma. So I've personally known Lyle for probably like 3 or 4 years now, I guess. First met him when I was working at a telco store and helped you out with a few things. So, and we just sort of, I guess, kept bumping into each other, and now it's blossomed into the friendship that is what it is today. So working on some cool projects together, or trying to make them happen at least.
Yep.
Lots of road bumps and hurdles and all those sorts of things, but we'll get there. So to give you a bit of a breakdown as to Lyle, 40 years old, grew up, or was born, I guess, with cerebral palsy and epilepsy and hemiplegia, I believe. So for those who playing at home, hemiplegia is, I guess, inability or like lack of use of
one limb on the upper of one side of your body.
So I am super politically incorrect, as we're all aware, so I do call it your gimp arm sometimes, whatever else. So for those playing at home, I've checked with Lyle about that many times because I still get a bit concerned of calling it that, but here we are. So, but you love photography and you love teaching photography.
Photography is my life.
Cool. So that's a big part of what we're working on and what we'll be talking about today. Yep. So give us a little bit of an intro about your life up to this date, mate.
Okay. As Sam said, I was born with epilepsy and cerebral palsy. I was born in Brisbane. I lived in Brisbane till 4 or 5 years ago. And I had my whole schooling life was done in Brisbane. I have 2 sisters. I have 2 older sisters and my parents. And my schooling life was, to put it lightly, absolute hell. There were days, because of and I don't like using the word disability, because I don't really think it is a disability. But there is days that I wouldn't go to school because I got teased so much. It caused so much angst in our family and so much hell for me. It was a nightmare, to put it lightly. And for the first couple of years in high school, wasn't much better.
Yeah.
Then as people started to mature, they started to realise.
Well, mature.
Supposedly, that's right. But then, and I'm not going to say I didn't go through fight free. I got into a lot of fights. And I'm not happy about that, but unfortunately that was part of life for me.
These things happen.
But I am so glad for the support network that I had at the time. Not only my family, my teachers, the friends I had at the time. Without them, I wouldn't have got through school. And I went right through to year 12.
Yes, sweet. And how about, I guess, coming into adulthood and everything like that? I guess moving into trying to get jobs and all that sort of stuff, like, you know, or I guess now that you've started your own business, give us a bit of a breakdown as to what it was like trying to break into that side of things.
I didn't get straight into photography.
Yeah.
I tried a number of different industries, so to speak.
Yep.
Because Mum and Dad said to me, as they did to both of my sisters, you guys do whatever you want to do. They would support us no matter what happens.
Yep.
And because with epilepsy and cerebral palsy comes a certain degree of learning disabilities.
Yep.
And I don't use that lightly.
Yeah.
I did struggle through school. And I still do to this day. And I did through college. And I did through any training that I did with photography.
Yeah.
But that's why I took the course that I did. But I had jobs at supermarkets, at drafting firms, at so many different places. One of the biggest ones that I had was a transport company, Rockley Carrying, that my father ran for 40-something years.
Yeah.
And that was probably where I learnt the most about business.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where I shot my first commercial photograph.
I was a bit concerned about where you're going when you say you shot your first something, because there was a bit of a pause and I was like, uh-oh,
No.
this podcast could go on a very weird tangent.
I shot my first commercial photograph there.
Yeah, sweet.
Because they at one stage built some Komatsu dump trucks there.
Yeah.
And I got to shoot an amazing image there that is very shortly going to be put back up on my Facebook and Instagram pages.
Yeah, cool. So what was it like for you, I guess, growing up with disabilities, getting into that sort of, you know, into the professional environment? Like, you know, we were talking earlier about the difficulties growing up, going through school and everything like that, you know, because school kids, they're immature. You know, we've all done a lot of dumb shit, but as we get older, we're supposed to get wiser and all that sort of stuff. But what was it like for you to break into the professional world, or just the business world, or just the working world?
Surprisingly, when I trained, the classes that I trained with on a couple of different occasions, they accepted me straight away for who I was.
Cool.
And for the disabilities that I had.
Yeah.
The teachers were most helpful and helped me however I needed it.
Yeah, cool.
And I had the absolute greatest time while I was studying. And then when I finished studying and the teachers said to us, okay, now you've got to go out into the real world and you're a commercial photographer. Off you go.
See you later.
Well, there's that many commercial photographers out there. At that stage, for me, as a young man, not really accepting the fact that I had a disability, and that in itself is a pretty big thing. And as there's only a certain amount of people that will understand what I went through, but to break into that industry, I kept thinking, well, I have to match all these other able-bodied photographers.
Yeah.
And that was one of the hardest things around to do.
Do you feel like because of your the physical appearance from your disabilities, do you think that was a bit of a hindrance, like that limited you because people, I guess, might have thought that you weren't as capable or anything like that?
For me, that was a massive hindrance.
Yeah.
And that hurt me in a very big way.
Yeah.
And that hurt me for years.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hurt me in ways that a lot of people can't understand.
Yeah.
And probably will never understand. But they have to realise the one thing that people have to have is a support network.
Yeah.
And my biggest support network was my family.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for them.
I don't think many of us would be without our family. You know?
Yeah, but
for you in particular, that's probably
it is different for people with disabilities.
For sure.
It is really different for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
They rely on their families so much more.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I didn't have my licence. Living in Brisbane and have I on public transport, getting around and running a commercial business.
Yeah.
That was impossible. Mm-hmm. Or near impossible.
Good news on the horizon, though. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
40 years old, and you're going to hopefully sit your learner's license test next week, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow. So that's it's a huge step, mate.
Yep.
Okay. How does that make you feel, being able to have the opportunity to finally do that now?
I have done it once before, and I've had it previously.
Yeah.
But then the doctor, for some reason, said to me my eyesight wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
But I recently had all the tests and I've got all the paperwork to say that I can go and get it.
Mickey Mouse, good to go.
So
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you, but the phone calls that we've had when you're speaking about it, you can hear it in your voice. It's awesome.
It's something special.
Yeah.
But, it's... And even... Yeah, it's something special.
It's exciting. I'm excited for you. So, and, even if I need to drive you around a couple of times, well, you drive me around, I guess, in my car.
That'll be what it is.
It's daunting, but luckily I've got insurance on my car, so it's fine.
It'll be good.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine the freedom that you will feel once you get your open license or anything like that. For me, because I've obviously been, apart from my heart and whatever else, like I've been quite able-bodied, and I've had my license from the minute that I could get it. So I couldn't imagine going, from where I am now, plus another decade without having my license. The limits that just that one thing alone would have on my life would be huge. So, so then that brings us back to that support network. I know your mum and dad support you a lot, and I know that they've been through a bit over the last few years, and family, everything like that. But
certainly can't leave my sisters out of that.
Hell no.
If it wasn't for them looking over assignments and stuff while I was going through college, that was a pretty big part of that, because there was a fair bit of angst while I was going through college.
No doubt. So shout out to you, mum, dad, and the two sisters,
Kim and Kylie. Yep.
Kim and Kylie. That's full credit to you guys. That's bloody unreal, and to help this bloke turn into the man that he is today. It's awesome. I know that you're definitely one of the people that would give anything to someone else and be willing to help. You're always calling me saying, "What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you?" And that's awesome. So should be proud of the bloke who you are today, and especially with the direction that you're going. So give us a bit of a breakdown about photography. How did you get into it, and I guess ultimately what it sort of means to you? So how did you originally get into photography, and why did you go down that path?
Well, it was a little more than 20 years ago. That's fairly daunting saying that, but anyway, it was older. It was longer than, because I remember standing on top of the hill at Pear Street in Greenslopes, where Kylie lived at the time, and it was New Year's Eve, and I had my camera set up there. We could see the Story Bridge, so you could see all the fireworks and everything going off, and we were all sitting up there. And so my eldest niece, Emily, she was literally 3.5 weeks old, and that's probably when I made the decision then, because I'd had a camera and I loved going out taking landscapes, and as you guys won't be able to see, but I've got landscapes all around my house that I've taken. But I love the fact that I could go and do that sort of thing, and some of those landscapes gave me that push to want to go and do it professionally.
Yeah.
So before I did that, I put the word out on Facebook that I'd do portrait sittings and stuff like that, just free of charge for people to update their photos and stuff, and so I could also update my skills.
Yeah.
And I'd do portfolio shoots and all that sort of stuff, and the word got out, and I'd started charging people and all that sort of stuff once my skill level built up. And I got to the stage then, it was years later where I actually went and trained. But by then, I actually knew what I was doing. And I just, by that time, didn't matter where I was going, didn't matter what I was doing, I had a camera in my hand. Just like Jared said the other day, I've got in podcast 1, I've got a camera in my hand.
Yeah.
Wherever I go. And then 4 or 5 years ago, I moved up the coast. And I moved my whole business up the coast as well. And I found a studio in Nambour, and I just wanted to concentrate on portraiture then.
Yeah.
Nothing else, really. And I did. That's what I did. Just concentrated on portraiture.
Yep.
And started to teach people. And while I was doing that, I realised, because I knew you then, and I had an Samsung S8, and I found the pro settings in there, and I realised on the camera that I had at the time, the pro settings were very similar to the manual settings on my Canon camera.
Yeah.
So that's when I started to come up with the concept of teaching using mobile phones.
It's a simple platform, so
yeah,
and they take amazing photos as well.
And
some of the photos that I've seen you take on these cameras has been on the smartphone is unbelievable. So technology is only getting greater and greater now. So,
and for me now, it's just giving. It's all about giving people opportunities that they thought they could not or would not ever have the opportunity to do.
That's probably brings us on to the next point. Is what you want to do is, I guess, you want to be able to teach photography, and that's something that's definitely a passion of yours, and that's the stuff that we're trying to organise for you. That's definitely the avenue that you're going down, is to get away from commercial photography and all that sort of stuff, and just focus on teaching people, in particular people with mental and physical disabilities, about photography. And it's about sharing
sharing the knowledge,
and that's an awesome thing. That's a beautiful thing that we all probably could take a leaf out of your book with. That is, if you have knowledge, being able to share that and teach other people that knowledge is I think a very important and pivotal part of anyone's life. And it's something that I enjoy. I love reading and I love learning. I love learning because I love the ability that it gives me to teach other people. The more I teach, the more I learn as well. So it's a vicious circle. But yeah, it's cool for you to be able to look into that sort of things and give people with the disabilities an avenue of creativity for being able to share their world that they see through their own eyes into photography, because everybody has a different outlook on this sort of stuff, and that's a motto of the photographic difference.
It is
sharing
photography through my eyes and now yours.
So that's a cool thing. That's a concept for me with my own mind. Is I don't know what goes on in anybody else's mind other than mine, because that's the only thing that I've experienced. Same with your eyes. You don't see anyone else's point of view other than your own. I'm 6 foot tall. For you at your height, you might see things a little bit differently. If someone's taller than me, then that's a different point of view. There's just different aspects of that. So all the composition that people have when they're taking a photo and everything like that is different. And then it's that 1% that you might have, the way that you view the world, as opposed to me, makes things a lot more potentially beautiful and all that sort of stuff. So what's the next steps for you with photography, I guess, and being able to do this coaching and everything like that?
I suppose the biggest thing is this week I'm starting applying for grants and all those sorts of things. I've got to get a studio.
Yeah.
Studio's number one for this year. And then building the amount of equipment that I've got.
Yeah.
So not only getting updating some of the cameras that I've got, but also building the amount of smartphones, stuff like that, just so I can actually teach anyone that wants to learn. And it's not only people with disabilities, it's basically anyone that wants to learn, I will teach.
Yep.
And then it is literally getting the word out. I want to be able to advertise the business properly so that I can, let's say 18 months, be completely off Centrelink.
Yeah. That's been a big aspiration of yours,
Yep.
I think, the entire time that I've known you, and that's been something that I've always admired about you. You know, your purpose for this sort of stuff is not only just to be able to teach other people, because that's where your passion is, but secondly is about realistically just getting off the disability support pension, because
Yep.
you want to be able to blow wind into your own sails, and then, you know, be able to not have to rely on, you know, the system and all that sort of stuff to pay you and everything like that. So, and that's a cool thing. You know, I don't think a lot of people have that outlook on life, and you know, they're happy. A lot of people on the pension are happy just to keep receiving the pension because of whether it's a mental mindset that they don't think that they could do anything better or bigger or anything like that, because they're just told that you've got a disability, you can't do anything, which we know is just complete bullshit. Or
You can do anything you want to. You just got to put your mind to it.
And that's it. And that's been a big thing that, you know, I've spoken to you, because we've come through a lot of freaking roadblocks with what we're trying to do here. You know, we thought we would have a lot more support because of the genuine message that you have, but big companies are big companies, and they don't necessarily have the capacity to help, you know, even with the beautiful message that you're trying to do with this. And, you know, for them, being able to support you with something like this would be nothing out of their pockets. But anyway, that's a conversation for off.
That's a total different story.
So, but it would be easy for you and I to, with all the no's that we've had in the past with what we're trying to do, to say, fuck it, it's too difficult, let's just not worry about it. Instead, my message has always been to you, it's like, don't stress, we'll get there. We just got to trust in the process. And it's been cool, because I think we're probably learning a lot more along the way, and there's been a lot more opportunities opening up now, because we didn't get that direct yes at the start. So there's different learning curves and all that sort of stuff. So it's about trusting that process. So,
but now for me, it's getting to the stage where I want this to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to get frustrated because I haven't had that studio to be able to teach people.
Yeah.
And I actually want to get back into the studio.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick and tired of not being able to do what I absolutely love doing.
It will happen, and as I say, all good things take time. So, with photography, apart from giving you an avenue to be paid and teach and all that sort of stuff, what else has I guess, photography done for you?
Simply made me a better person.
In what way?
Well, there's a number of people that both of us know. I would literally do anything for now.
Yeah.
And without question.
Yeah.
If they need it done, like that, it's done.
Yeah.
And I just want to get things done so that I can ultimately, eventually get to the end goal for me. But I want to see. I used to be. I'm not worried about other people. I want to see me get to the end goal. But now I want to see them get to the end goal as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I suppose, how it's changed me.
There's no point being at the top before your homies are at the bottom, right?
That's right.
So, what about mentally? Like, how has it sort of made a big difference in your life? Like, you know, you could see when we were talking earlier about, you know, you growing up and you know, that when you're going into the support group, getting a little bit choked up on, you know, because it's tough, and it's tough us reliving that sort of stuff through our heads,
And that is something I've never talked about on camera.
So, would you care to open up about that sort of stuff, I guess, about how it's possibly made you a stronger person, the lessons that it's taught? Through everything that I'm doing, that mental health is one of the things that I'm a huge supporter of, on my own social media. As blokes, again, we said it in Dean's podcast, you were there.
Mental health is the biggest thing around for guys.
Yeah.
You've got to, if you can see something's not right, ask a question.
Yeah.
Ask if you're okay. If you don't ask the question, you won't know. You won't know if someone else is okay.
That's right.
And that's what people need to know. And that's how you start a conversation. That's how you find out whether everything is okay. And that's why they've got, for instance, the Are You OK Day every year for mental health.
So I was sitting down yesterday with my housemate, and we're watching whatever we're watching on telly, and an ad came up about mental health, and there was a bloke in it, and they were talking about men's mental health, and my housemate actually made the comment, I don't think I've ever seen a mental health ad featuring a bloke for blokes. It's first time ever. So it's cool that the world's changing, and we're having these conversations as blokes, and then again going back to that podcast with Dean and everything like that. Traditionally, that's not something that we're supposed to do, but it's cool by having these conversations. We're making it more of a point for other people to then be able to say, oh fuck, maybe it is okay for me to open up and then reach out and ask for help, because that's the biggest thing. There's a lot of stigma around blokes talking about it. I'm not okay. So is there something that you've learned, any lessons or anything like that that you could probably share with people, the listeners or anything like that?
I suppose the biggest thing is, and trust me, I'm not usually one to talk about this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But if I was to think about it, I need to be.
Yeah.
Because living with a disability, you actually do need to think about this sort of thing and talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you're not okay, reach out to someone.
100%.
Doesn't matter whether it's someone in your family, a friend, a professional. Reach out to someone.
Yeah.
There's always going to be someone there to help you.
And that's the thing I think most people don't realise or understand or anything like that. Males and females and everything in between and outside of that now, because it's 2020 and I don't know what genders are anymore. A lot of people think that they are alone, but they're not. They just
far from it.
That's your mind playing a lot of tricks. I'm very open about my mental health and all that sort of stuff, simply because I know that it does give people then the power to reach out, and then I've had people say, because of you, I've actually gone and sought help and all that sort of stuff, and I can hand on heart say that I've helped people save their own life. I'm not going to say that I've probably saved someone's life, but it's giving them the power and understanding to help themselves. Ultimately, that's what with your own mental health battles, that's what it comes down to, is having that power. So has photography made a big impact in the mental health side of things for you? Has it helped you, maybe escape or anything like that, open up any other avenues?
I used to always, when I was stressed or not thinking clearly, I could easily just go and pick up the camera and go out onto the river outside and go wandering along the river for half an hour or so, taking a few different photos. Didn't matter what it was, and come back and my head was completely clear. It's amazing what just even being in the right place can do for your mental health.
It's a form of meditation at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
It's just switching off and disconnecting from that frontal lobe, the thinking brain. Yeah. So, that's it's an awesome thing. So, so give us a bit of a breakdown for what's next for you. Like, what are the next stages for Lyle? Like, you were talking when we went for that walk just before. You're saying that this is going to be a big freaking year for you. How so?
Okay, so I've got a couple of things. I've got a few commercial jobs I've got to shoot, but besides that, the rest of the year will be all about getting the studio, building the client base.
Yep.
And building the name and building the reputation of the studio.
You've already got a few students signed up to the program and everything, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing, like, if we... I spoke to you the other day about it. There was just a lady that I happened to run into per chance through my 9 to 5, and she... I was just speaking to her, and I was talking to her about photography and smartphone cameras and all that sort of stuff. And I said that I have a friend who, we're setting up a business for you to be able to teach people with, disabilities about photography. And she was just like, I love that idea. And then she jumped on, and I told her, did you go jump on? And she liked the Photographic Difference Facebook page. And I spoke to her. I'm actually going to try and get her on the podcast as well, because she was a super interesting lady. But I think there's definitely a huge need for that. And being able to give these people who are constantly being told, no, you can't do that, the ability to say, fuck yeah, you can do that. It's something that
still happens to this day.
Yeah.
The fact I get told, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like hell I can't.
And we've experienced that in the past, with different things. And, you've explained your frustration about some people, sort of whether they're saying it in a joking manner or whatever it is. Like, they've when someone tells you no, it fucking pisses you off. But what it does is gives you the drive to say, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. Hell yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool attitude to have, but it's frustrating. And it's then we've come up to I've come up with whether someone else has this saying or not, I'm not sure, but through that community project stuff that we're working on, we want to enable rather than disable.
That's
so
right.
And that's a cool thing to live by. And I love seeing you, like, when we're out there cleaning up yards and all that sort of stuff and chucking rubbish in the back of trailers, you're willing to get in and get stuck in and lift whatever you can and do as much as you physically can. I'm never going to be the one to tell you that you can't do something, because it's all up here. This is all on to you now as to what you can do. So it's cool. So next step is teaching this photography and all that sort of to these people. And what else? Like, what else? What do you need, I guess, for it now? So you got to get a studio.
I suppose I need studio, and then I need to update some of my camera gear.
Yeah.
And then and I suppose we've got to have that conversation about the best way to get the smartphones and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's something that's a bridge that we'll be able to cross. So shout out to anybody who's listening out there. If you want to donate, if you want to help us out, Lyle will be applying for grants and that sort of stuff, but needs a studio, needs new equipment. All this shit costs money. So if you're a business and you've got a studio that he'd be able to use, please reach out. You can grab us on all of our social media, which we'll share. So Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fuji, anything, any of
all
those,
of the above.
Any camera company that would be willing to jump on and support. Smartphone manufacturers, there's that we'd be able to, and we're going down the avenue of being able to hopefully get some, or we prefer the Samsung smartphones because they're awesome. Recording off a Samsung smartphone, and that's, it's cool. I love the flexibility that these things give us, and it's awesome. So if you're a business and you want to be able to help us raise some money to be able to purchase some,
I'm more than happy to advertise for any business that comes on board.
That's right. So if we go down this avenue, this is going to blow up. I 100% know that it will. And there's going to be a lot of social media marketing, and we'll get newspapers on board, everything like that. So there's a lot of airtime that these companies have the potential to do. And I think as big companies, they all 100% have corporate responsibilities that they should be helping out the little guy to be able to achieve his dreams and everything like that. So I sure as hell will be supporting you, continue supporting you as much as I can in every facet that I can. So if you have the capacity to help, please reach out. We want to be able to get on board and get this done as soon as possible. And not only are you going to be helping this gentleman, but you're going to be helping countless people with mental and physical disabilities be able to share their world to us, and we'd love to be able to run art shows and all that sort of stuff, displaying the artwork that these people have, and people could possibly purchase them, and then we could use that as funding for you, or funding as different charities or whatever else. There's lots of options that we have. So again, if you have the help, have the capacity to help, please reach out. I implore you to reach out. It's a freaking cool project that you can get involved with, and it's genuinely going to be able to make a huge impact into other people's lives. So anything else that you want to share, mate?
Not really. I mean, and as I've said, for anyone, I suppose, with a physical or mental disability that wants to try something new, please, as Sam said, reach out to any one of us. All our contacts will be
shared through the podcast. So you can grab Lyle on Facebook and Instagram. So at The Photographic Difference. Both on Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, you can grab us at the Samadhi Project as well. Reach out to me personally on Instagram at STOLZ91. Happy to answer and push any questions through to Lyle with this sort of stuff. So this is going to be huge. Watch this space, watch this man, because there's going to be huge things on the horizon.
This year.
I feel it in my loins. It gives me goosebumps every time that I talk about it and all that sort of stuff, because it's going to be a freaking cool thing, and I'm going to love to be able to see your journey go down that path as well. So bit of a recap, I guess. Growing up with disabilities is freaking tough. If you have done that, reach out. You've got a support network bigger than you probably even realise.
I'm more than happy to chat to anyone.
And if you are struggling with things, reach out to us with that sort of stuff as well. If you're able-bodied and you're judging people for the way that they look with disabilities like that, go have a hard look in the mirror at yourself and then reevaluate the way that you're,
give yourself an uppercut.
Yeah, there's something that I say all the time: have a look in the mirror and give yourself an uppercut. Because if you are degrading somebody because of the way that they're born and everything like that, you need to just really give yourself an uppercut and reevaluate the way that your brain is working. So don't judge or anything like that, because there's enough hatred and shit going on in this world and there's enough difficulties that you go through without having those mental battles as well. So that's probably pretty much it, mate. I think.
Yep.
You're happy with that?
I am. Thank
First
you so
podcast
much.
that Lyle has ever done. So very excited to be able to share with him the first experience that he's had with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be more in the future.
I guarantee it.
And there's going to be some cool things. So watch this space.
Yeah.
Go give the man a follow on social media. And I guess that's us signing off for now.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Tune in soon with some more podcasts coming. Got some lined up. Once I figure out my scheduling and all that sort of stuff, I've got some big news coming up that I'll have to share in maybe a month or so once I have the ability to do that. So, but watch this space, and there are some freaking cool things coming up anyway. So, Lyle, personally, I want to say thank you for coming on, and I know it's difficult sharing your story, especially growing up and getting a bit choked up on camera is always sharing that vulnerability is a difficult thing. So done well, and I think this has been a really, really good podcast for us. So I love it.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to share?
No.
Camera, nothing? Sweet. Signing off, as always, much love and namaste. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll catch you next time. Getting old.